Hello, everybody. Okay, so the next step was MD Anderson. MD Anderson Cancer Center, to be exact. Wonderful place. Absolutely wonderful. Saved my life many, many times. I guess I'll go ahead and tell you guys. I've had cancer 6 times. I am a 6-time cancer survivor. I have a genetic disease called CMMRD, constitutional mismatch repair deficiency. If I'm describing it properly, it's basically your cells generate or turn into, grow into cancer. They just go against you. So the types of cancers that I've had are several different kinds, which I'll tell you in my journeys. So my first journey was the colorectal one, and we went to MD Anderson. And MD Anderson, I met my first doctor, Dr. Rodriguez Beekes. Wonderful man, wonderful doctor. We were all, scared, didn't know what to expect, and he made us feel right at home, made me feel right at home. And the nurses there are fantastic. So we got a game plan. We ran some tests, lots of tests, not just some, but lots of tests. And we came up with the plan of removing my whole entire colon, most of my rectum, and making a J-pouch, which a J-pouch is a man-made colon. While that man-made colon healed, we would do an ileostomy bag for 6 months. Once that J-pouch healed, I could reverse that ileostomy bag. So after 6 months, I did get to reverse that ileostomy bag and have that ileostomy bag surgery. And then I got to use the internal J-pouch, man-made colon, which was awesome. How science is these days, it's crazy. So that was my first cancer journey. No chemo or radiation was involved. I had checkups, several of them, on all of my journeys. And unfortunately, about 9 months later, the colon cancer came back, or colorectal cancer, what it's referred to. And that came back in a lymph node. They opened me back up, and they did shielded radiation, but they also did, I can't remember how many months of chemotherapy, but it was take-home chemotherapy. I had to have a bag of chemotherapy with me, and that was quite interesting because they send you home with this radioactive kit in case it busts. You have to clean it up and wear all these radioactive materials. It's quite interesting. So we did that. I made it through that one. Made it through that surgery. So that was my, third major surgery. Then, let's see, I think I was doing fine cruising down the road. And want to say maybe 2 or 3 years later, I ended up going in for a routine checkup, and they saw something in my scan that they didn't like, and it was in the vaginal area. So they went ahead and scheduled I guess it's like a vaginal ultrasound, if I'm saying that right. And they found out that it was a polyp. And since I hadn't had children yet, I wasn't dilated enough to be able to get that up there. So they give you this medicine, and it makes you cramp horribly bad, like you are contracting, like you're having a child, so that you soften up, so that they can get this ultrasound up there. And I'm trying to go into as much detail as I possibly can so that maybe I can help somebody, help anybody that may go through any of this as an experience that they may have to go through or have gone through. So that's why I'm trying to go into detail. Anyway, so that's what I had to go through the experience because I didn't have a child. And that was probably the worst part of this sonogram or ultrasound that I had to go through. The actual procedure itself wasn't horrible. They found out that it was a polyp. And then they decided to go ahead and remove it through a same-day surgery. So we did same-day surgery. They removed it. They biopsied it. It came back as clear cell cancer. And so I believe it was endometrial cancer. I get all these cancers all mixed up. I have chemo brand very bad. That's one thing that happens when you have chemo so many times. But it was a clear cell in there, which is one of the worst kinds of cancers that you can get. So they were debating whether they were going to do chemotherapy with me. But luckily, it did not penetrate the walls of the uterus. So they just decided that the next step was no chemo, but a full hysterectomy. An absolute, complete, full hysterectomy. Everything had to go. The ovaries, the fallopian tubes, the cervix, the uterus, everything had to go. So this was at the age of, I want to say the age of 23, that I had to decide whether to freeze my eggs or not. I chose not to because I had already had chemotherapy and radiation done that I did not feel that my eggs were going to be viable. So I chose not to freeze my eggs. I chose to just move on with the procedure without doing so. These things are hard to talk about. I've never done anything like this before, never documented anything before. And it is hard to talk about. But I want to help other people. So, after that cancer, I believe I was cancer-free for I want to say until I was 26. And then I got one of the worst cancers that I could have ever imagined to have gotten. And that was my large diffuse B-cell lymphoma. And that one, the chemotherapy for that was awful. That's when I met Dr. Fayyad. And he is one of my favorite doctors. He's fantastic. I'm going to tell you about that journey in the next video.